How do you know if your teaching is effective?
What you're trying to do, you don't want the student to simply have some information, memorize it, and give that back to you. You want in some way for the lights to go on, for the noodle to turn in their head. And you've got to reach to a lot of tools for that. I have this test. I don't mean an exam. I have this test for whether teaching has been effective. You ask yourself, are you a good teacher? Well, here's the test. When it's Thanksgiving break and the student goes home and is sitting at the Thanksgiving table with the family, and you've got the father there, and maybe you've got a brother who has yet to go to college, and suppose a subject comes up. Maybe it's a Supreme Court case. There's something in the news. If the parents were to ask what the student thought about it, or what she knew about it, or what she had learned about it, what would come out of her mouth? If all of it that it is something that you could find in Wikipedia, you have failed. What should happen is there should be a pause. The eyes should glaze over. There should be several different things that they try to verbalize and reach to. And it should involve a lot of things, a lot of different fields. They should say something about how this developed, or what really happens, or what the stats say, or what the various studies might have about it, and that there's this way of seeing it and that way of seeing it. It should be a very verbal event. You're trying to make these kids into themselves thinking machines, smart people. You're not trying to tell them what they should believe. You're not trying to give them moral lectures. You're not there to impart your politics on them. I once heard someone say, our goal is to make them empathetic. That's not your goal. Your goal is to make them intellectual. That's what I think that my liberal friends miss. They seem to think there's only one way to see something, or that they have the right way. We can't do it that way. The philosopher's always going to be neutral. You show all the ways to see it, and you make it so that the context is what is paramount. And that person, himself or herself, then is smarter when they go about making their choices. And that's the other thing that I think is not understood. When people are smart, even if they're not on the same side of politics that you may like, it will still be a safer form of politics. It's really hard for smart people to advocate for unsustainable, unsupportable, blatantly false things. You know, that kind of thing needs intervention, intellectual intervention, as much as it might need other types of therapeutic intervention. You know, we're not talking about a situation where anything goes. What we're talking about is a situation where whatever goes, whatever happens, is going to be a smart version of it. And that automatically is going to take a lot of really nasty things off the table, because it's the intellectual process of discernment that's going to do that. So that's really what your goal is. Your goal is not to produce anything more than people who know how to see context and reach to a lot of intellectual tools that can help them in the process of understanding.